our viewers who are following and watching our videos and posts. My name is Sabina, and I am sending you greetings in behalf of our Intergenerational Center Anders Gegram in Slovenj Gradec. As you can hear, today we switched languages. We are preparing an English edition of our international viewers, but also for all of our participants who are in our English conversation group. This group is coming together each Tuesday at 9 o'clock at our center. So for all of you who'd like to join free of charge, so just come by and join our group. Today, as you can see, I'm in good company. On the other side of the Zoom line is Milko Grebenc, who is currently located in Kranj, if I'm not mistaken, right? He's one of our most valuable contributors and participants. He's also sometimes joining our English conversation group. Some of you might remember him from his workshop about memory techniques, which he held a while ago. And during the pandemic, we already did a similar interview. There, Milko was talking about posters, which is a unique and creative way of expressing oneself. So this is going to be also today's main topic. And before we start, I would like to invite Milko to give us a little presentation about his persona, about his work, tell us a little bit about himself. So please, Milko, the word is yours.
Yes, hello. Thank you so much, Sabina. In one of my first posters, there will be a story why and what brought us together. Actually, I'm really happy. Thank you so much. I appreciate all what you have been doing, and especially when you mentioned now most valuable. I'm really honored because these days I immediately got the association to Luka Doncic, our famous basketball player. He was also granted as most valuable player. So these two words you said really mean to me. I'm glad we are again together now in English language. And yes, as you said, we will be talking about posters. If I could say, kind of brand, kind of little invention from my side. And you can see on the top of this slide that this is a combination of noun and a verb. That's where I got the first thought to be slightly different, because it is about to post something, and what you post is a poster. And I share all this, I would say, work on social media, primarily on LinkedIn and also on Facebook. They are done graphically with hand sketches, with drawings. My daughters contribute also some photos, and they are done in English, so that actually could be understood by the international community. Yeah, and I have selected some of them. You can see on the front page, and we will be deep diving in some of them. But the red thread of what you can see on this front page is what I dedicated to both of my daughters' children when they were young. They were also drawing sketches and scribblings for me. And now, as a grown-up persons, they contribute to these posters as well.
Great, thank you for the introduction. Okay, like you said, it is a combination of two words, these posters. And in English, it has more of a straightforward meaning, so it's easier to interpret and to explain. Like you said, and how does everything come together in terms of expressing oneself in this unique way?
That's a story that actually started when I was, I could say, down, and one of the posters will be telling that. Because I lost the job, and at that time I was searching for myself, for my personality, for my clarity, not only as a job seeker, but generally. And then when I started to pick up, when I touched the button, then I just, while reading, I would say, resketched, redrew one of the, I would say, figures. And then I said, okay, I should actually maybe share that on the social media. And then that was the first poster. Today we are at 87 published, and at least 4 or 5 are waiting in a row for a final approach, meaning that they are in my head, they are scribbled, sketched somewhere. I just need to find the right time to put them on a paper and publish them on social media. And I can immediately say I found that really as a very good stress management tool.
You said 87. Last time we were together, you had 81, 82, something like
Yeah,
that?
it was quite a gap. It was quite a, actually, I realized how time flies because I have my kind of list and I see that I was a bit lazy for quite some time. It doesn't mean that I forgot them. Actually, posters were generated in my head. I just need to find the right time, the place to put them on piece of paper. And now I can clearly understand the writers, the painters, composers, but it's not just like that you create something. You might pre-create in your brains, in your mind, but you need the time to actually sort of give it out for a public.
So now we decided to have a closer look at some of your posters. Like you said, you created more than 80. It's amazing. And each of them is carrying a special context, a story, a lesson, some wisdom. The pictures you can see here and the drawings itself are very intriguing, but the stories behind them are also truly fascinating and worth listening to. I remember from last time. So it would be really impossible to go into detail into each and every one of them. But we made a little selection for our first session. Our participants helped. So now we have also here, I think, some new ones. So it's going to be some new information also for those who didn't watch the last time. And I will ask you to talk us through some of these posters and also give us some more information about the purpose and of such posters and how they are usually created or made.
Yeah. Actually, I decided for this introduction just to take one of my posters, which I posted a couple of weeks ago. It's a story about posters, poster about posters. And that is actually also introduction, how they are done, when, what, and why. So if I start with why, with how, they just come unplanned, unexpected, suddenly from a clear blue sky. I don't sit down and say, okay, now I'm gonna make a poster. That's really not the procedure. It's just coming, the brains and synapses, it's just such a fantastic organ, and it just comes. And if I try to depict and actually go through when that happens, so this preparation of this story and the session we had in Slovene was a very good exercise for me to ask myself these 4 questions which you can see displayed. And I found that the posters are created or can come to my mind when I'm in different emotions, whether sad or happy, whatever. Emotions are a very important driver for that. Mindfulness, so actually I'm more and more aware to be aware of the moment, of the contact with all the senses, and then brains will just generate some ideas. When I listen to the music, when I'm actually sleeping or in subconsciousness, in dreaming with this rapid eye movement close to alarm clock, I say, when I'm reading books, when I'm in the car, inspired by surrounding, when I have some other interests, learning about famous, known, more or less known people. So these are the moments when it comes to my mind. And I would link it here on the bottom. You see this flow chart. I will be talking a bit later from Mikali, Csikszentmihalyi. Definitely I am in a flow when generating posters and getting the ideas. It's a special state of mind, a very pleasant state of mind. And what is the subject? Like I mentioned, different things from business, private, crazy ideas, bold ideas, sharing knowledge, experiences in 56 years, more than 20,000 days, as you will see later on of my life. There have been some things that I really consider to share with others. Acronyms, sayings, my hobby, polka yoga examples, and like I said, dedicated to known people, but dedicated definitely also to my children. Also, part of that is, like I said, stress management, and part of that is also my bucket list. Bucket list is a wish list of things I would like to do as long as I'm alive. And my general concept for the bucket list is that this list must never be empty. This list must never be found with all the lines ticked off. That is a driver. You always need to have something as a wish, as a desire, as a plan, as a little project to work for and to live for. And why I do that? Yeah, share ideas, inspiration, encourage others, share hope and joy, make other people happy. And recently I read one of the sayings: if you share your sadness, you make it half. If you share your happiness, you make it double. So in line with that, if I actually made one single person somewhere in the world happy, then my mission is accomplished.
Wonderful. And this word flow rings a bell here for me. Very often it happens that people are looking for that flow. For example, we have a poetry class, and there are the people who come and join, and they're always looking for inspiration, and they always say, oh, I'm not in the mood, I don't have this flow, I don't get it, I don't know where to start. But also in other groups it's the same. People are looking for that flow. They have as kind of an idea, but they don't know where to get the energy so that they start going, they get going. But I see that here this is a good way to find your flow, to just make one step after the other, and then just get going. So this is a good technique to do that for so many other areas where people are looking for this energy to find the flow. So it is inspiring in this term too. So thank you.
And as a starter, I just couldn't get away from this one we had last time. This is, as you can see, coat of arms dedicated to your city, Slovenj Gradec. And this is a story about what would happen if that had not happened, a conditional sentence in English. So you see the two streams. As I told you, as I mentioned, I lost my job after more than 3 decades. And at that time, I was very desperate. So the life actually took me on the upper timeline. If I had stayed there, I would have been swimming in this aquarium comfortably, but the comfort has its price. Would I be happy? Would I be satisfied? Would I continue to be in flow? Yeah. Let's leave that to philosophers and to quantum physics experts. They say that the parallel world stays somewhere, but you are just not aware of that. So I'm walking on the upper line. I went out from this comfort zone. I started with the posters, like I mentioned. I was joining some voluntary sessions telling my story in Cross-Generational Center in Krain. And then we met one day when you visited us. I participated on a very great, fantastic lesson about cross-generational cooperation, which I daily use at my job right now. Then we had an idea to continue. I came to Slovenj Gradec. You mentioned the techniques of memorizing things. I met fantastic, wonderful people at your association. We made first Slovene session. We continued. I joined a couple of English lessons. And here we are today. So definitely, I would say if the life hadn't thrown me out of comfort zone, we would have not been here also recording this session. And I'm really, really grateful to Destiny and of course to you helping me on this path.
Wonderful. It's all coming together in this one picture. Your drawings that you made yourself, right? And the keywords, creating this wonderful story. And this is the point of this process, as you can see from this one picture, and we will see later on from the others. That's why I say it's worth investing some time into looking at it a bit closer, and maybe also listening to the story behind it. And I've seen it now a couple of times. At first I had to look closely, but now all of these keywords and pictures are already starting to unravel a story that I have also in my memory. So this is, maybe it has a different effect on each and every person. So for me it is very dear because I was also part of that. So thank you for it, and maybe we will create some other posters together. Or
Definitely, as you can see, this sound of happiness on the horizon, we still have a quite some path or sea to travel, to sail. And the main message to others is, if you look at these tears in the eyes at the moment, when you are down, when something terrible happens to you, now I can definitely confirm it's the start of something new, even more beautiful. No doubt about it.
wonderful.
And the next posters is also later on, when I was thinking about this comfort zone. I used to travel a lot. There were a lot of flights, and as I were flying more frequently, I felt quite uncomfortable while flying. It was a fear. It was actually even turning into a kind of phobia. And now I see that when I compare these 4 circles, that's from the literature. You stay in comfort zone. If you step out, which is the most difficult step, then you get to a fear. You get into something that is not known to you.
Mm-hmm.
When you cross that, you go to learning zone, and when you cross that, you are in a growth zone. So there is a price to pay to step out from the comfort zone. Either you do that willingly, deliberately, or like in my case, the destiny would take care about that. And I just compared, when you are ground, when you board the plane, you feel comfortable because you are on the ground, you are not airborne. Then when it starts taking off is, at least from my point of view, for me, the most terrible part, because you started to climb, you see the ground and objects and houses getting smaller and smaller. There might be some clouds, turbulences in this altitude. It's really a fear. Then when you get and you climb a bit closer to your cruising altitude, it's less uncomfortable. And finally, when you are up on 35 to 40,000 feet, more than 10 kilometers, normally, if there is no stormy weather, the flight will be really calm. And actually, to stay for too long time in growth zone, it actually turns again into the comfort zone.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And then you have to walk the way back, because you have to get down. And the fear zone is again descending, learning is landing. And when you are safely on a new destination, disembarking the aircraft, you are again in a growth zone. But if you stay too long time in that place, again, you will be thrown back to comfort zone. So you need to start a new journey, and that's a new cycle going on. So this is how I actually see this comparison between flights and getting through different layers of altitude, from here, learning and growth. That's just a comparison.
Great. And time is an important component here, important feature. Yeah. And I have to think of my son also while looking at this. He's also, when you grow up, it's the same thing. It comes in very naturally. Comfort zone, fear zone, like you said. And now also when we are moving at this very moment, so this is also something we are, or when you're changing something in your life like you did, it is the same thing, right? Comfort zone. If you're somewhere for too long, it becomes too comfortable, and you have to make yourself to go into this, I don't know, learning zone, while passing the fear zone, of course, at the beginning, when you don't know something, you're afraid. Like, why were witches burned on a stick? Because people didn't understand, they didn't know. That's why they made such horrible things. History teaches us, when people don't know anything, they don't understand. It always comes with fear. But if you surpass this and then get into the learning zone and growth zone,
and the sizes, the radius of these circles, or I would say the period of time you stay in a particular zone, very much depends from person to person, from situation to situation. So it's just like to depict this travel, this, I would say, passing through different zones. However, there is no clear definition. You will be so many days in fear zone, you will be here and there. It really depends from personality and situation as well. Sometimes a fear zone is actually just, I don't know, to go to the hairdresser. Sometimes it's to start a new lesson. Sometimes it could be anything. And this is what I try to depict on the next one. That's what I made this selection. So these posters were published in different periods of time, so they don't follow the sequence as I'm showing right now. It was just a selection I did last night. And again, coming back to this fear and learning and growth and the flow state by Mihaly Csikszentmihalyi. So if you stay for too long time in a comfort zone, let's say a job, then your skills will be very high, but your challenge will be dropping down. So there is a trap, there is a risk that you will end up in boredom. So you won't be happy at your job, even though you might have a great salary, all the rest of the conditions as well. And that's what happened to me, that life took care and threw me out. So I lost the job, and this is Kurt Vonnegut, I hope I pronounced well, curve, which goes down and then you go high. So practically you can see comparison of 2 dates. 1st of March 2021, when I was well embedded in the new organization in much more challenging industry than before. You see, I went through this evolution, and somewhere here deep on the bottom, it started with posters. So I got the new job, and now I would say that I am in a great learning zone. I was in a fear zone because this was quite a tough industry. A lot of things were new for me. And this is where you learn that you have to stay humble. I thought with 31 years of experiences, industrial environment would give me some, confidentiality. No. It's actually every single day you learn. You can get all the experiences, you can utilize them, but you need to stay humble and say, every single day is a challenge. I have to learn, I have to contribute. So today I'm staying here. You see, I'm back in a flow state. I got a little less skills for that industry, but my challenge is high. And I travel this way, not downwards. And this is a big difference. And again, a message to people is, if you are thrown down, no doubt, sooner or later, you will start climbing. You will go through these zones. There will be a sunshine for you. And at the end of the day, you actually even end up higher than you were here. So you see, the important message from this Kurt Vonnegut's curve is that the happy end, or I would say the happy continuation, is actually higher than at the time when you were in comfort zone and you thought you had been happy.
You said humble, but also thankful. That.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
When I'm currently in a situation when I'm changing, when I'm making big changes. So this is the first thing that comes to mind. Yes, being humble, but a lot of it also is
grateful.
Being grateful and being grateful.
Gratitude, that's really something that we forgot too often. To small things, to celebrate small victories. Because the big success is, I would say, combined with the small victories. No doubt about that. And this is what have to be really celebrated. And one of my other posters, I won't go in details today, is also keeping journal. Keeping every single day 3 notes, what made you happy and what you are grateful. You can see that approach. I'm reading these days a lot of books about Camino de Santiago. This is on my bucket list. Let me reveal that secret, that one day I hope I'll be able to walk Camino, because it's not just a walk. And yet people do keep the journals.
That's a good one. I was also thinking about it. And we
might meet somewhere around Bilbao, Pamplona, or at the end sharing our, why not?
At the Intergenerational Center, once we had a lady having a talk about her Camino. She walked the Camino several times, and it's amazing. Yeah, it's amazing to hear about this experience. So I was very, very much.
I'll find her when I come to Slovengrad.
Yeah. Good. Okay.
Okay, the next one is a block I dedicate to empathy, and I dedicate to my daughters. So this drawing was made by my older daughter, Ines, almost 26 years old. She drew a lot of drawings when she was a child to a daddy. And then that was at the time when my curve was still going down. And it's incredible how children sense that. And I'm really proud that my both daughters have a great degree of empathy. So she drew me that little drawing, that there is a light at the end of the tunnel, there will be a way up. And actually I made my first simple acronym. I like acronyms, and I, as a hobby, like to create my own. You will see some more. So healing of painful emotions is actually a hope.
Wonderful drawing also.
The next one was from my younger daughter, Masha, who turned 18 the last March. And one day she also sensed I was down, and then we were just talking, and I said, how would you actually draw the better time on the way? So she just made that drawing. And then I saw actually the message, and I was happy to be in a role of fatherhood. So I created another acronym here from the word fatherhood, what you have to be as a father to deliver fatherhood. And I just put that drawing and found a nice saying from unknown author. We travel not to escape life, but for life not to escape us. So I found it really good with this three-dimensional drawing that Masha made for me.
Wow.
And I know that your son is also very talented. I follow also your sort of posters of his drawings, and there is always a message when kids make you a drawing. It's not just a drawing.
Yeah.
This is what I learned.
Yeah.
The next one is also dedicated to my younger daughter. I was really, really proud that day. It was the end of it was actually such time like now, beginning of July, end of June, 2 years ago, when she finished the first class of the gymnasium. So that's a big jump from elementary school to gymnasium. It is a jump from comfort zone to a fear zone, no doubt about that. And she had some challenges at the end, but she passed all the subjects successfully. But one of her best colleagues had some issues with some subjects, and immediately after school ended, they had this possibility to correct and to pass to the next class. And that day, my daughter went to gymnasium and met that friend and just stayed with her while she was waiting for the results of the written exam. So behind that door, a teacher of mathematics or physics, it doesn't matter, was just correcting and close to be out, to step out and announce whether you passed or you failed. And you can see the empathy. They were sitting together in flip-flops and holding the hands and just crossing the fingers. And yes, it ended up successfully. So she passed as well. And then I said, I need to generate this poster. And you know, kids are taking photos. So these photos are actually borrowed from her telephone. Friend in need, friend indeed. Or I will never let you down. Or there is a famous song of Liverpool fans, you'll never walk alone, and etc., etc., etc. So empathy at your children, this is something that you can be really proud as a parent. The next one, again, I have to go back to the first poster. If that hadn't happened, I would have not met Vanumela Suli. Not met personally yet, but via LinkedIn, via video conferencing, WhatsApp. There is a technology. And he's a volunteer. He's a guy in 30s. He used to be an orphan in Uganda, Africa. He had a terrible childhood, terrible life, really a story to shake you. And now he dedicates his life to take care about other orphans. So he runs an orphanage, Dreams, and I met him. I also contributed as much as I can, also financially. You cannot actually even imagine a little pocket money in our country could be a fortune for them to buy food and the rest of commodities. And I also generated this poster to praise Vanumela Suli, and also another acronym, United Globally as Network Delivers Aid. So if we stand together, the planet Earth will be much nicer place to live. And there is a saying on the bottom by Nelson Mandela. So this is dedicated to Vanumela Suli. And when I publish this video on social media, I will be glad that he will see it and he will share it with his kids and bring the smile of these fantastic people.
So the orphanage is home of dreams, right?
Home of Dreams, yes. You can find it on LinkedIn, on net. You can contribute. It is really an incredible story.
It's important so that the word gets spread.
Charity, solidarity, people with empathy, that makes hope for this world.
Thank you.
And the next one is what happened to me one day while I was driving. I just spotted while driving on a highway, I got a little company, a friend on my left rear reverse mirror. And then I noticed actually it's a living creature. And with a closer look, it was a grasshopper. And I was driving like 120 kilometers per hour. And then I safely pulled over to emergency line. And luckily there was a fuel station, a rest area. So I pulled safely, stopped my car, and took this little green fellow and put it back into his habitat, in his environment. And you can see how beautifully this creature fits into the grasshopper. So it's actually what protects him. So I stopped, and I was really glad that actually I saved a life. And then I was thinking about grasshopper. What is a grasshopper? And I learned about that creature, which has been on our planet for 250 million years. It can jump like human being would jump over the football playground. And actually also found a little saying about that. And this is another dedicated poster with empathy. So every single life counts. If we continue, that's also one of my favorite ones. It happened also when I was driving for the first day to the new job. So I got a new job at this age of almost 55, a very famous and very prestigious brand found some values in me and employed me. And actually I was employed in the time of great lockdown. So practically almost months and a half, I didn't go to office, but I got a salary, amazingly. And then since that time and still today, I can proudly say that I learned much more than years before. So what I was seeing actually that day is not just the steering wheel, the windscreen, the dashboard with all the commands. I saw actually something else. And that is depicted on this drawing. Let me just mention a few of them. Accelerator reminds me or associates me to motivation because you can speed up. Loyalty, appreciation, engagement are on the dashboard. People who support me is a gearbox. In this glove pocket, actually drawer, I have my knowledge. If you look at the reverse mirror, this is all the skills and the knowledge, experiences you got back in time. And I must say that I'm also grateful to the previous company. Steering wheel, direction, new job. The windscreen and the windshield is actually a vision, mission, where you go to for the future. And at that time, I had a little idea, if I ever write a book, the title will be From Kick to Kicking. Never say never.
A lot of symbolism here. Wonderful what you can come up with in such a time of, I don't know, of a lot of action, maybe despair, fear, and then you can see all this clearly in front of you and even come up with a book title. Wonderful.
Yeah, actually, and you can see if we follow this Kurt Vonnegut curve, this is very much on a up, actually. Far away from the bottom, far away from the bottom. So life is amazing, no doubt about that. The next one is one of the recent posters I dedicated to all my colleagues, all fantastic people in that organization, all around. It's just amazing. I would not believe it if somebody told me that before I was employed. That sounded like a literature, like a theory, but it is so fantastic people that I had to dedicate this puzzle. So I created 4x4 16 puzzle. And again, it's an acronym. If you put these puzzles together, it's not that difficult because you are guided either by shape, or you can read the word and you can see the associated drawing. So you can place these these puzzles. And this is the order of the letters, of the capitals. And it just comes teamwork in action.
Okay, thank you for telling me the result.
Yeah, I'm sure it won't be that difficult, but it's more like a message and my devotion. Really, I see teamwork in action. It's not just saying, it is something that is materialized. It is something that this organization walked the talk, no doubt.
You can maybe create this as a printout and then cut it out, and then when you have a team building meeting or something, you can surprise them. That would be a good one.
Yeah, no copyrights at all. I will be glad if people print that out, put it on a cardboard, cut it out with a pair of scissors, and then
that would be great.
Let's play.
Good idea.
I have some more, talking about my organization could have been a puzzle with 50 plus, 100 plus, 500 plus puzzles to create a message, but there is not enough space. It will be too tiny.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, now we enter a session of my little technical inventions. Mainly it happened in traffic in my car, and daily I park my car like depicted here, top left. So I always have in the parking lot car on the right, car on the left, so a kind of barrier. And when you go reverse, there is a street actually. Mm-hmm. And these cars today are equipped with all kinds of technology. We are actually even approaching these autonomous vehicles. But what I miss, and I have not seen at any car or heard, that there would be a reverse camera covering 90 degrees view. So not the one that many cars have for parking, a rear camera, which has quite a wide angle. But when you go slowly back, I always stretch my neck backwards, first right, then left, to see if there is any approaching vehicle. But if you have here on a bumper or on a fender, a little camera, so you drive a little bit back and then you see in 90 degrees perpendicularly what is coming from your left, from your right. So that would be what you see on a little dashboard here. That will really help me, because this is not a matter of skills being a driver. This is just a matter of safety at the traffic. So maybe one day somebody will invent that and put in the business.
Okay, so this is a different approach now from.
It is different. It's not the one, like sensors which go beep beep as you approach the barrier on the back, and the camera will draw you how you park, how you turn. It's actually just to see really 90 degrees right and left when you are going reverse, mainly from the parking lot.
But when speaking about the process, this one's a bit different. This one goes into the creative, or I don't know.
Yeah, and I was just, probably pain in my neck was a trigger to say how wonderful would be to have this camera. Mm-hmm. So the one in the middle is a traditional one. You can see straight back, but one on the left and one on the right will be those for 90 degrees. And if there is something approaching, there could be even a flashing light. There could be even a digital display saying this vehicle is coming with a speed of 26 kilometers and it will reach the point of collision in so many seconds. We know the algorithms, we know the mathematics, we just need to put them together.
So maybe if an engineer sees that, they might give you a call.
Yeah, if I get a patent, we share it 50-50, okay? The next one, actually, I'm really daily facing this situation because the roads get busier and busier, traffic jam all over. So despite of all the signs and commercials and campaigning to create emergency lane on a highway, many drivers still don't respect them. I can say it is already under my skin. As soon as I see the traffic is jamming or stopping or the blinkers in front of you, I always pull to the left if I'm on an overtaking line, or right towards the emergency lane, just to create and contribute to the emergency lane. Because at the end of the day, ambulance, fire brigade, you can save a life again. So my idea here was that this emergency vehicle, let's say ambulance, would have a kind of sensor that would find the undisciplined driver, take the photo of the registration, and then immediately the fine is generated. But this is not the right approach. This will not solve the situation. So I was thinking in a way that these flashing lights, normally flashing blue lights, if they reflect in one of your mirrors, if those mirrors are intelligent and see the flashing blue light, that will give a signal, a strong beeping signal to the driver that there is an emergency vehicle approaching from the backwards, so you still have time to reposition your vehicle left or right. And some people I know, when you look at them, when the traffic is stopped, they are sending messages, they are talking on the phone. Some of them will even have an earplugs, listening to the music. So they are in their own world. So there need to be something to distract them and give them a warning, hey, there is a vehicle on the way, move left. Maybe one day.
This one was created lately, right, this poster?
Yeah, I would say it's quite a while, but not that far away back in time. Yeah. And again, I have acronym here, written a bit tricky in the normal traditional way, and
left
in the other way.
Right.
Yeah. So you have to use your mirror.
And
that was actually where I was inspired. If you look at the ambulance or fire brigade, they have this kind of spelling the other way around. Why? Because in reverse mirror you see ambulance. If you look at with your eyes straight, then you see this. Oh, what is that? You know? So you see, brains are really fantastic. The next one is my little drone, fire brigade drone. I think I even later on seen some animations. The drones can be used to drop the seeds, to plant the trees in unapproachable slopes and mountains. They could be used to bring the life vest to the person away from the shore drowning. But I got an idea that, because recently we've seen in Slovenia quite some terrible fires, especially on the waste disposal area. So let's imagine that we have a warehouse and there is a thermal camera 24/7 surveillance. And as soon as there is a little spark, the temperature will go higher. So the camera will detect and will send this little drone exactly closer to the unapproachable place in the shelves. And then the drone can approach. And my idea was that the coordinates are known. So you fill the system with data saying that in this particular shelf, you store the plastic, for instance. So to extinguish the plastic, you need a certain media. So the drone will be that intelligent, approaching that little source of fire, flame, or spark, and then turn in the right direction to spray the right media. That could be water mist, that could be foam, powder, CO2, depending on the information in the brains, in the driver, what kind of material is placed in this critical area, so that you do it optimally.
The last three posters are a bit different than the ones at the beginning. They really have an intellectual or useful output. It's amazing. The wide spread of how you can use this, how you can create it, and you came a long way. And this is also, you can see how much you can give to the society, how much you can, not just talk about philosophical things, but create something useful, something that could save lives, or something that could be, I don't know.
That goes in mission with my posters, as I say, inspire, do something, contribute, etc., etc. And let's use technology for good. All these digitalization and all kind of these things, we need to use them for the benefit of the mankind.
One can see that you are an engineer, right?
Yeah, I'm an engineer. Okay, if we go a bit away from this engineering area, at least the traditional engineering area, this is my first saying. If somebody had told me at the bottom of this curve that I would be making my own sayings I would have not believed. So it's in Slovene, življenje in učenje ne tvorita samo rime. But I turned that one into an English perspective slightly differently, saying that life and learning do not only share the first letter. So I kept the message that you learn every single day, whatever. And if you are open to that, you will learn even more. That's my first saying. From cradle to cubicle, or cradle to grave, they say.
Yeah.
Then I come to the last section where I selected the posters that go to famous persons. And this is a story about Louis Braille. And the inspiration came when I was visiting Milan in Italy, Milano, with my family. And we were on a subway. And then we saw on this rail actually something I coincidentally touched. So it was actually the station, the underground station, Giuseppe Meazza. This is a football stadium. That was my wish to see the stadium. And then I saw it was also in Braille, so for the blind people. And then when I came home, said I need to read the story of that person who created something for the benefit of the blind people. And the story is incredible. He got blind and so on. So his life was really turning in the wrong direction, but he picked up and he invented something that is still in a digital period today, used by all the blind people internationally, a Braille alphabet, which you can find, for instance, in pharmaceutical products, in pills. And I made a story and I deliberately left out some letters that you can insert. It's again like a little puzzle, like a little game. And you will get his name and surname. And on the bottom, you see the combination of these capitals, these letters in his original Braille alphabet. And also my name is spelled in Braille alphabet, like you can see here.
It's a good way also to show how a person in despair can create something.
Which really stays for ages.
Just like,
and again, this little drawing of Louis Braille was made by my younger daughter.
Wonderful.
By Masha.
Wow. Very well done.
And that, you see, that creates an avalanche of ideas. And I read a story about another great man, Samuel Morse, who invented the Morse alphabet. And his story was also sad. He was away traveling, and his wife died. And the courier, Cavalier, actually brought him a letter. He immediately left the place, but it was too far to reach for the funeral of his wife. And then he said, I need to turn that into the benefit for the mankind. And he created a Morse alphabet with a telegraph poles, telegraph road at that time, which is still known today. And again, even though we are in the digital period, digital time, it's very useful if you know this alphabet. When there is no wireless, when there is no electricity, you can just knock on the wood or knock on the pipeline, so the sound is transmitted. If you know two basic letters, SOS, that can save your life. So another great person who turned his sad moment into invention for the mankind.
Yeah. It could be a good idea for a workshop at our center, maybe, to learn this and maybe make a little game out of it or something and turn it into a useful thing. Good.
Now we come to a bucket list. This is my wish list, as I said, which is constantly being filled with new ideas, with new wishes. I mentioned one of them, Camino, and there is no time frame for all these things, so no pressure at all. And if I just share two things which I both ticked off, I watched Charlie Chaplin movies like The Trump, Circus, The Great Dictator, City Lights. I watched all of them more than one time. And then I also said, learn from his life, from his messages, and dedicate a poster. So then this poster was born. There are some great sayings. I like this one, a day without laughter is a day wasted, and so on. And here is actually just a list how I see a bucket list as my driver.
Great drawings too.
And the last one for today, Nick Cave, a musician, Australian, one of my favorites with his band Bad Seeds. I've been to his concert 4 times. He has a book entitled 20,000 Days on Earth. So I was inspired. Why shouldn't I celebrate that as my birthday as well? Not just traditionally when you turn 18, 33, 50, whatever. Why in years? Why shouldn't we turn it in days? So I'll use the calculator on the website and calculated that my 20,000 day would be on 19th of November 2019. And I really celebrated that day. I didn't make a cake with 20,000 candles. That will be quite difficult to blow. But I dedicated this poster. And while having days, I turned some of the time spans, periods, instead of years to days. So I calculated how many days in elementary and high school and university and the age of my daughters at that day. Then I played with the figures and I got an idea, okay, calculate how many breaths in those 20,000 days. And I came to this huge figure, of course, having an average breath rate per minute, heartbeat. And then you can see what your heart is doing all over your life. And if you say that each beat is approximately 0.1 liter, so 1 deciliter of blood, you can calculate amount of blood pumped in your life. And then also the time I spent at my first employer was displayed here at the bottom. Quite interesting and different angle to some traditional things that we have.
Again,
having said that, this is my selection, Sabina, for today. Could have selected others or more, but that was my choice to walk through different themes, to walk through different areas of my posters, and the rest could be seen on social media.
Wonderful. The last one again, the engineering you is coming through. You can see the numbers, you know how you think and how you what kind of ideas you get from that. So this would be interesting for other people also to inspire them, and maybe when they watch this, some others will also come to think of, you know, why couldn't I make a poster like that? So I hope other people will create posters like that, and if they like to, they can share their ideas with us. We'll be happy to see what might spark out, what might come out. And I'd really like to express a big thanks for your exciting presentation. It is, like I said at the beginning, it is truly worth investing some time to listen to these stories, because they hide so much, such a wide such a deep story, such wisdom, such inspiring moments that might, you know, motivate other people to do something, to create, to do something that's good for everybody, not just for themselves. But at the beginning, it is maybe, like you said, it is a way of coming from this down and then moving up and getting the flow. It is wonderful. It is inspiring. So I hope you will create more posters. We will share them with us, and maybe some other ideas will come out of it. Some other people will create something from that. They are really truly inspirational and motivational. So thank you once again for sharing that with us.
Welcome. It's been a pleasure, and thank you for helping me in bringing this message and documenting it as well.
That's what it's meant for. And if other people would like to take a look at more of the posters, you sharing this on
No doubt, yeah.
On online. Where can they find them? Where?
On LinkedIn and Facebook. Basically, I use these 2 social networks, and if they just Google my name and surname combination is not that frequent, is not that common. I think the browser will let them to me, and I'll be very glad to. This is all about, actually, you shared that, like I said before.
So Milko Grebenc, and you can find more of his 80 plus posters online and be inspired and motivated. What I can say in the end is that I wish you plenty of creative energy and many more posters to come to share with us. Also, have a wonderful summer, and let's hope to talk to you soon, maybe in person. Like I think the
Definitely.
virus is. Let's hope it's gone for a while, so that we can plan some new sessions or some new workshops in person in Sloven Gradec. And then we will see you soon with fresh new ideas, some inspiration, and just such a positive energy like we had today. Wishing you really all the best, and thank you for your time. And
thank you as well. It's been a great pleasure, and I look forward for next sessions and for next get-togethers. Thank you very much. See you. Goodbye. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.